Hello guys, welcome to another video. In this video we'll talk about a country you probably cannot move to, and this country is the Vatican City. And here are the topics we're going to cover in this video. We're going to start with what is the Vatican City and the Holy See. Then we're going to talk about the difference between Vatican and the Holy See. Then we're going to talk about living in the Vatican City and the Vatican and the Holy See citizenship. After that, we will summarize why you cannot live in the Vatican City, moving on to the advantages of living in the Vatican City, and finally the alternatives to living in the Vatican City. And before we start, you already know it. If you want to travel, move or invest abroad, hit the like button, check our other videos, book a consultation call with me. The link is in the description. And most importantly, subscribe. Let's start. So, what is the Vatican City and the Holy See? The Vatican City, also often referred to as the Vatican, is an independent state in Europe, but I can guarantee you this state is different from all other countries in Europe. First of all, the Vatican City is the smallest country in the world by area and population. Not only that, the Vatican is the only country in the world completely surrounded by a city. It is literally an enclave inside Rome, the capital of Italy. Apart from that, the Pope sits on the highest position as the chief of state in the Vatican. He is also the person in charge of the Holy See. One important thing we should do before finding out why you and I cannot live in the Vatican is to understand the difference between the Vatican and the Holy See. When you read the news about the Vatican, you will oftentimes read or hear as well about the Holy See. In many situations, these two terms are used interchangeably, but the truth is that the Vatican City and the Holy See are not exactly the same thing, although they are highly related. The Vatican City is actually the state, the geographical space of the smallest nation in the world. The Holy See, however, is an administrative entity, part of the Catholic Church. For that reason, we're going to talk in this video about how one can possibly or impossibly live in the Vatican City and not in the Holy See, because the latter is not an independent state. The possibility of living in the Vatican is available to very few members of the Catholic Church, and in many cases it involves the automatic grant of the Vatican citizenship. Getting a Vatican passport is a rather complicated task, as the laws around Vatican citizenship are very different from laws regarding citizenship in almost any country. First of all, there is no such thing as ius sanguinis or ius soli in the Vatican. Ius sanguinis is basically the citizenship right deriving from one or both of your parents' citizenship. This is the case for most European and Asian countries, but not the case in the Vatican City. Ius soli is the citizenship right one acquires at the place he or she was born, which is the case in most countries in the Americas. That is also not the case in the Vatican City. Basically, the Vatican citizenship is only granted for those residing in the Vatican, which are people with relevant roles in the country and its administration, as well as to his immediate family members. People eligible to the Vatican citizenship are, according to the Vatican citizenship law, as follows: cardinals residing in the Vatican City or in Rome, diplomats of the Holy See, other people living and working in the Vatican City, such as the Swiss guards, for example. In almost all cases, the Vatican citizenship is lost by the time of the service or job in or related to the Vatican ends. Because of this, the Vatican citizenship is actually one of the hardest to acquire, but at the same time, one of the easiest to lose. Now we're going to explain why you cannot live in the Vatican City, as the title of the video says. As a matter of fact, it is not totally impossible to live in the Vatican City, since actually around 400 to 900 people do live there. The exact number depends on the sources. The reason why most people cannot live in the Vatican is quite simple. You need to be invited for a position in the country, and the criteria are rather arbitrary. Apart from that, there are very few openings, since the state is very small. Finally, at the end of your service or job in the Vatican, in most cases you will have to return to your country of origin, or simply live in another country, losing the Vatican citizenship in the process. Some people even get Italian citizenship after working in the Vatican and losing Vatican citizenship. Now that we know that most of us will never get to live in the Vatican City, we can check some of the advantages for the very few that can actually live in the Vatican City. To be honest, there are not many extremely appealing advantages of becoming a resident or a citizen of the Vatican State, but there are some. The most significant one is that there are no taxes in the Vatican City for its residents. No income tax, no import tax, virtually no taxes exist at all in this micronation. The other last significant advantages are: you can probably meet the Pope often. And if you're tired of your country, you can just take a quick walk to Italy to have some of the best cappuccino coffees in the world. So now that we know that it is from somewhere between highly impractical to nearly impossible to move to the Vatican City, let's check some alternatives to living in this country. These may be even better, or at least as good as living in the Vatican from some point of view. I would personally prefer the alternatives to the Vatican than the country itself. The first obvious alternative to living in Vatican City is to live in Rome, as the city surrounds the microstate completely. As a matter of fact, if you live in the Vatican, you need to travel often to Rome to get even some basic services, and definitely if you want to travel abroad, as it is nearly impossible to travel out of the Vatican City without going through Italy. Moving to Italy is also infinitely easier than living in the Vatican City when it comes to paperwork. If you are a EU citizen, you can just move to Italy without almost any preparations. But even if you're not an EU citizen, moving to Italy is also quite easy. You can come as a student, or if you find a job, but also if you want to run your own business, or even come as a retiree. You can check our other videos on moving to Italy for more details. The second alternative to living in the Vatican is for those who like micronations for no specific reason, including myself. The alternative is basically moving to another micronation in Europe, and Europe has actually quite many of them. While moving to the Vatican in itself is a nearly impossible task unless you have devoted your life to the Catholic Church, moving to other European microstates is definitely easier. However, the bad news is that usually moving to microstates is a rather complicated task. Their small size usually reflects on a small overall economy, meaning also that the job market and business opportunities are rather tiny when compared to other larger countries. But you shouldn't feel discouraged by that. There are many foreigners, even from outside the EU, living in European microstates. The hardest ones to get a residence permit are definitely Monaco and Liechtenstein in Europe, but other options like San Marino, which is also surrounded by Italy just like the Vatican, and Andorra offer easier paths to residence permits than Monaco and Liechtenstein, and definitely way easier than the Vatican. You can go and check some of our other videos about Monaco, Liechtenstein, or Andorra here on the channel. And that's it for today's video. Write down in the comment section what do you think about the Vatican City. Have you been there? Would you like to travel there or even live there? And to end the video, the usual spiel. If you want to travel, move, or invest abroad, hit the like button, check our other videos, book a consultation call. The link is there in the description. And follow the advice of every other YouTuber. Subscribe. See you next time.